Listen to me for a moment, because this moment right here could be the dividing line between the life you've been settling for and the life you were born to live. There comes a season in every person's life when excuses get tired, when fear gets exposed, and when the soul starts whispering, you were meant for more than this. Maybe you felt it late at night. Maybe it hits you when you're alone, when the noise dies down and reality speaks. That feeling is not weakness. That feeling is a calling. 2 months, 60 days. That doesn't sound like much, does it? But don't underestimate what can happen when focus replaces confusion, when discipline replaces delay, and when faith replaces fear. History has never been changed by people who waited for perfect conditions. It was changed by people who decided, right where they stood, that enough was enough. You don't need a new year. You don't need permission. You need a decision. Right now, 2026 is waiting on your courage. It's waiting on your commitment. It's waiting on the version of you that's tired of talking and ready to act. These next 2 months are not about comfort. They're about construction. You are building a new mindset, a new standard, a new life. And it starts with one truth you must accept today. Where you are is not where you have to stay. If you can listen, if you can commit, if you can move, even when you're scared, then 2 months from now, you won't recognize the person staring back at you in the mirror. And that's when everything changes. They don't clap when you win, but they lean forward when you hurt. They don't show up when you're rising, but they suddenly become very interested when you're falling apart. And the dangerous part is this. They don't look like enemies. They sound caring. They sound soft. They sound like they're worried about you. But listen closely, because real concern wants your healing, not your heartbreak. There are people who feed on your confusion, who feel validated when you're struggling, who feel taller when you're shrinking. They ask questions not to help you stand, but to confirm that you're still down. And if you're not careful, you'll confuse their attention for love, their curiosity for loyalty, and their presence for support. Watch how they react when you're in pain. Do they guide you towards strength, or do they keep reopening the wound? Do they remind you of your power, or do they keep replaying your trauma like a favorite song? Some people don't want you healed because your brokenness gives them relevance. When you're hurting, they get to be the listener. When you're lost, they get to be the guide. When you're weak, they get to feel strong. And they'll call it concern, but deep down, they're celebrating that you're still beneath your potential. They'll say things like, I'm just worried about you, but their words drain you instead of restore you. They'll bring up your past failures under the disguise of being realistic. They'll remind you of who hurt you, not to help you forgive, but to keep you angry. And every time you start to rise, they suddenly pull you back by saying, I just don't want you to get hurt again. But growth always involves risk. Healing always requires courage. And anyone who truly loves you will push you toward wholeness, even if it scares you. Pay attention to who enjoys the story of your pain more than the vision of your future. Some people are emotionally invested in your wounds. They know exactly how to keep you doubting yourself. They know exactly which memories to trigger, which fears to highlight, which insecurities to activate, and they do it with a gentle tone, a concerned face, and a voice that sounds supportive. But real support doesn't keep you stuck. Real love doesn't trap you in yesterday. Real concern doesn't secretly smile when you're bleeding. There's a reason you feel heavier after talking to certain people. It's because they don't help you process pain, they help you relive it. They don't help you heal, they help you stay wounded. They don't speak life, they speak limitation. And the tragedy is that you keep opening your heart to them because you think they care. But care builds, care strengthens, care pushes you forward. If after every conversation you feel smaller, weaker, and more doubtful, that is not concern. That is quiet sabotage. Some people need you broken because your healing would expose their intentions. If you rise, they lose access. If you grow, they lose control. If you heal, they lose their role in your life. So they keep you talking about the pain instead of the plan. They keep you focused on what went wrong instead of what's next. And they call it being there for you. But being there for someone means helping them stand, not making a home in their collapse. You must learn this truth if you want peace. Not everyone who listens to your pain deserves to hear it. Your vulnerability is sacred. Your story is powerful. And giving it to the wrong people can delay your destiny. Some people don't need to know what you're going through because they don't know how to handle what you're becoming. Guard your healing. Protect your progress. Share your struggles with those who speak hope, not those who secretly enjoy your suffering. Notice who changes when you start getting better. When your energy rises, their interest fades. When your confidence grows, their advice increases. When your smile returns, their concern suddenly disappears. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. They were never attached to your future, only to your pain. And the moment you stop bleeding, they no longer know how to relate to you. Let that be your sign. You don't owe everyone access to your wounds. You don't need permission to heal. And you don't have to explain why you're choosing distance over drama. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to stop feeding people who survive off your sorrow. Your healing is not arrogance. Your growth is not betrayal. Your peace is not selfish. So rise quietly, heal intentionally, and watch carefully who stays when the pain no longer defines you. Because the ones who truly care won't just worry about you when you're broken. They'll celebrate you when you're whole. Some people will stand beside you in name only. They'll nod when you share your dreams. They'll smile when you talk about your goals, but behind the scenes, they're planting doubt. They'll question your decisions with helpful advice, subtly making you second guess yourself. And you might not even see it at first because they speak with the language of concern. But true support doesn't shake your foundation. It strengthens it. Those who undermine your progress are experts at making you feel like failure is your own fault, while secretly rejoicing when you hesitate, stall, or retreat. They'll compliment you in a way that diminishes you. They'll say, "That's a good start," when you've already accomplished something great. They'll compare your success to others as a warning rather than an inspiration. And all of this is done softly, quietly, with a tone that pretends to care. But make no mistake, they are keeping you small because your success threatens their comfort, their narrative, their ego. Every time you make a step forward, they will test you with doubt, question your methods, or remind you of past failures. Watch how they react when you actually succeed. Are they genuinely happy, or do they shift the conversation to someone else's achievements? Are they excited about your victories, or do they downplay them? True supporters celebrate loudly, without hesitation, without sarcasm, without subtle jabs. Those who undermine will always find a way to twist your triumph into a lesson about why you might fail next time. This is not love, this is covert sabotage. You may think they're motivating you, but real motivation uplifts. Real encouragement lights the way forward and fuels your courage to act. People who undermine progress will make you feel like every step you take is a risk too big to bear. They'll plant seeds of doubt under the guise of wisdom. They'll ask, "Are you sure about this?" in a tone that makes you question your entire plan. And if you let them, their words will hold you back longer than any external obstacle ever could. Some will tell you, "I just don't want you to fail," but failure is not the enemy, it's the teacher. People who genuinely support you know that risk is part of the process, that stumbling is part of growth. They don't erase your mistakes, they don't criticize your choices, and they don't celebrate in private when you struggle. If you pay attention, you'll notice a pattern. Those who consistently point out your weaknesses under the guise of concern are the ones secretly hoping you stay stuck. The worst part is that these people often act like friends. They may have been there through your lows, laughed at your jokes, comforted you when life hurt, but the moment progress demands courage, they withdraw. They subtly discourage you from moving forward, convince you that you're not ready, or plant the idea that your goals are unrealistic. And the more ambitious you get, the more they try to redirect your energy, all while pretending it's for your own good. You must understand, not everyone who claims to want your success actually does. And that realization is powerful because it forces you to choose carefully who gets your time, energy, and trust. Protect your dreams fiercely. Your circle is sacred. Your ambition is sacred. If someone's presence consistently drains your momentum, it's not confrontation, it's clarity. Success attracts attention, and not all attention is good. Some people will smile in your presence while quietly fearing the strength and potential they see in you. Their subtle undermining is fueled by jealousy, insecurity, and fear of being left behind. They want to keep the narrative where you stay small and predictable, where you remain a reflection of their limitations instead of the force you were born to be. Look for patterns. Who reacts to your wins with genuine excitement? Who tries to find a flaw in every move? Who encourages you to take risks and still believes in you if you stumble? Those who support your progress will celebrate consistency, effort, and courage. Those who undermine will poke holes, question timing, and shift attention away from your growth. Rise above their quiet sabotage. Protect your energy. Build your dreams even when they doubt. Celebrate your wins even when they question. And remember, your life is yours to build. People who pretend to support you but undermine your progress are not your enemies. They're lessons. Learn them. Thank them for the clarity and move forward without them slowing your climb. Some people don't need to confront you openly. They don't have to yell, argue, or fight. Instead, they have mastered the art of emotional manipulation. They know exactly which buttons to push, which fears to activate, and which guilt to instill in order to steer your choices. They'll make you question your instincts, doubt your worth, and hesitate when action is required. And the most dangerous part? They often disguise it as love, care, or guidance. They speak softly, they smile, they empathize, but behind every gentle word lies a subtle push toward the life they want for you, not the one you were meant to live. They will make you feel responsible for their emotions, as if your actions must constantly accommodate their moods. When you make a choice, they'll sigh, frown, or give a look that silently says, "You shouldn't have done that." And that look carries weight. It makes you question your right to move forward. They use fear, guilt, and shame as levers. They highlight what could go wrong, magnify every mistake, and exaggerate consequences, all to keep you trapped in hesitation. Their goal is not to guide you, but to control you. And if you're unaware, you'll start surrendering your power, thinking you're acting in the name of kindness or loyalty. They play the victim brilliantly. When you assert yourself, they cry or withdraw affection, leaving you anxious and confused. You start to second guess your decisions, thinking maybe you're too harsh, too selfish, or too ambitious. And that's exactly the point. Emotional manipulators want you to bend, to adjust, to sacrifice your vision for their comfort. Your energy becomes their tool. Your ambition becomes a threat, and your confidence becomes something they quietly undermine. You will notice that conversations with them leave you exhausted. Your thoughts spin, your feelings are tangled, and when you try to stand firm, they subtly question your judgment, plant seeds of doubt, or invoke past mistakes. The emotional weight they place on your choices is not natural. It is calculated. Their words are like invisible chains, holding you back while appearing innocent. And if you're not vigilant, you'll find yourself asking, am I overreacting? Am I wrong? The answer is rarely about you, it's about them. They will also use praise as a weapon. They'll elevate you in front of others, but privately remind you of your weaknesses. They'll compliment you, but attach a condition like you're doing well, but don't forget. Every but is a leash, every remember is a subtle restraint. Manipulation is never about truth, it's about maintaining control. And emotional manipulators excel at keeping you confused, unsure, and reliant on their input. Some people manipulate because they fear your independence. They fear what you could become if you make decisions without their influence. They fear the light of your potential will expose the shadows in their own life. So they create scenarios where you question yourself at every turn. They highlight dangers, dramatize risks, and make you feel obligated to their feelings rather than your future. And they will call it love, care, or loyalty, but true love empowers, and true loyalty trusts your decisions. You must protect your heart and mind. Recognize the subtle games, the quiet manipulations, the invisible weights. Stop letting someone else's fear dictate your steps. Every time you yield to manipulation, you lose a piece of your destiny. Every time you hesitate because of guilt or emotional pressure, you delay your breakthrough. And every time you put their comfort above your calling, you compromise the life you were meant to live. Emotional manipulators are experts at creating drama to distract you from growth. They will engineer situations that provoke reaction instead of reflection. They will twist conversations, misrepresent your words, and make you feel wrong for even trying. And their favorite trick? They make it look like you caused it. They make you apologize for living boldly, for thinking clearly, for standing firm. And if you don't recognize it, you will give away your power one choice at a time. Notice your emotional state after interactions. Do you feel lighter, stronger, inspired? Or do you feel drained, anxious, and doubting yourself? If it's the latter, that's a sign. That's your intuition warning you that control, not care, is at play. The manipulator disguises change as concern. They call restraint guidance. They call guilt love. And they will do it subtly, patiently, persistently. Rise above it, strengthen your inner voice, trust your judgment, protect your emotions like they are the currency of your destiny, because they are. When you learn to recognize manipulation, you reclaim freedom. When you refuse to let someone else dictate your feelings, you reclaim power. And when you make decisions rooted in clarity, courage, and self-respect, you step into a life that is truly yours, untouched by their control. There are people who smile when you win, who clap when you achieve, who nod when you share progress. But don't be fooled. Their applause is polite, their words are surface level, but their hearts, they simmer with envy. They measure your success not with joy, but with comparison. Every milestone you reach, every goal you accomplish, every recognition you earn becomes a mirror reflecting what they have not achieved. And instead of celebrating, they feel threatened. Instead of lifting you higher, they quietly hope you stumble, so their insecurities feel justified. Jealousy is a silent poison. It doesn't announce itself with loud arguments or open criticism. It creeps in quietly, masked as concern or advice. They'll say things like, "Wow, that's impressive, but are you sure you're ready for that?" Or, "I'm happy for you, just don't get ahead of yourself." Notice the subtle tone, the hesitation, the hint of doubt in their praise. True celebration doesn't carry condition, comparison, or restraint. True joy in someone else's victory is pure, untainted, and completely freeing. Anyone who secretly resents your growth is not a friend. They are a competitor, hiding in the disguise of companionship. They will also downplay your achievements, minimizing the work, effort, and sacrifice it took for you to reach where you are. They'll focus on flaws, setbacks, or risks in your success story instead of celebrating the triumph. And when they do this, it leaves a subtle residue in your mind, planting the seed that maybe your accomplishments are not as great as you thought. And the worst part, if you let it, you begin to internalize their envy as self-doubt. Their jealousy tries to steal your joy before you even fully embrace it. Notice how they react when others acknowledge your success. Do they change the topic, redirect praise to themselves, or subtly compare achievements? That is the hallmark of hidden envy. They can't celebrate because it would shine a light on their own insecurities. Their love is conditional. Their congratulations are rehearsed. And deep down, every victory of yours is a reminder of their limitations, their unfulfilled ambitions, and the gap between where they are and where they want it to be. You must understand this. The world is full of people who will pretend to be happy for you, but inside they're counting your wins as threats. They smile, but they envy. They speak, but they undermine. They applaud, but they resent. And if you are not aware, this energy can infect your own spirit, making you doubt whether your hard work is truly worthy, making you question whether your dream is attainable. Some people use jealousy as a tool to manipulate you subtly. They may give advice that sounds like guidance, but is really meant to limit your ambition. They may ask questions about your plans, not to understand, but to find weakness in your strategy. They may offer solutions that are designed to slow your momentum. Every interaction becomes a test of whether you'll allow someone else's insecurity to dictate your progress. True friends, true supporters, don't measure themselves against you. They rejoice in your victories without comparison. They lift you up without agendas. They celebrate your progress without feeling diminished. And when you encounter people who cannot do this, you must recognize that their jealousy has nothing to do with your worth. It has everything to do with your fear, limitation, and inability to embrace someone else's light. Your success is yours, your achievements are yours, and the moment you allow someone else's jealousy to steal your joy is the moment you give them power over your destiny. Guard your energy. Protect your spirit. Shine boldly. Celebrate your victories unapologetically. Do not dim your light for anyone's discomfort. Imposter syndrome is real, and sometimes it's even we forget. You will notice over time who truly celebrates and who silently resents. Those who rejoice openly, who clap sincerely, who lift without agenda are rare. Hold them close. Those who quietly envy, who question your every move, who minimize your accomplishments, are dangerous to your growth. Distance yourself and allow your journey to unfold without their shadow over it. Remember this always. Jealousy hides behind a mask of politeness, concern, or subtle praise. It is silent but deadly. It can undermine your confidence and steal your joy if you let it. And the strongest armor against it is awareness, clarity, and the unwavering decision to celebrate yourself first, because your success is too important to leave in the hands of someone who secretly resents it. Some people talk a lot about guidance, mentorship, and helping you make the right choices, but listen closely. They are not building you, they are binding you. Their advice always comes with strings attached. They make you feel like you cannot move forward without their input. Every decision is questioned, every step second-guessed, every victory subtly reframed as incomplete without their validation. True guidance empowers. False guidance keeps you dependent. And many people will cloak control as concern, making you think you need them more than you actually do. They speak in ways that make you doubt your instincts. When you have a plan, they ask endless questions designed to confuse you rather than clarify. They say things like, "Are you sure you want to do it this way? Or maybe you should wait and think more." And if you yield, your life slows down. If you resist, they feign disappointment. Either way, the outcome is the same. You remain tethered to their approval instead of trusting your own wisdom. They are not guides. They are chains disguised as counsel. Notice how their advice always seems to keep you in the same place. They rarely suggest bold moves or radical shifts because those would force you out of their control. They are comfortable with you struggling, hesitant, or indecisive because that keeps you coming back to them. Every conversation becomes a subtle test. Will you act independently or will you rely on their wisdom? If you always rely on them, you'll never know the power of your own decisions, the strength of your own judgment, or the courage that comes from trusting yourself. Some people make you feel guilty for not following their advice. They frame your independent choices as selfish, reckless, or ungrateful. And if you challenge them, they become concerned about your future, making you doubt your ability to think clearly. The strategy is simple. Keep you seeking guidance instead of building confidence. Keep you talking instead of acting. Keep you small while they feel relevant. Their influence is subtle but relentless. They will also remind you of your mistakes under the guise of lessons or wisdom. Every failure is highlighted, every hesitation is magnified, and every misstep becomes proof that you need them. And because you value their opinion, you start internalizing it as truth. You begin to believe that without their advice, your decisions are unsafe, your plans are doomed, and your vision is incomplete. This is manipulation, not mentorship. True mentors encourage independence. True leaders instill confidence. True guides push you to think, act, and trust yourself. They do not build dependency. They cultivate strength. They do not measure you by how much you rely on them. They measure you by how boldly you step forward when you finally trust your own instincts. And anyone who keeps you coming back for permission to live your life is not guiding, they are controlling. Some people cannot handle your progress because it diminishes their influence. They know that when you think for yourself, act for yourself, and succeed on your own terms, you no longer need them. And that terrifies them. So their advice always comes with subtle warnings, quiet manipulations, and conditional approval. Their goal is not to free you. It is to maintain the illusion that you need them to survive. Pay attention to your feelings after their guidance. Do you feel motivated, confident, and empowered, or do you feel unsure, hesitant, and insecure? The difference is everything. Empowering guidance fuels action. Dependent guidance fuels doubt. And in 2 months, in 1 year, in your lifetime, the difference between growth and stagnation is measured by which voices you choose to trust. Rise above the need for validation. Test your instincts, take risks, make decisions boldly, and trust the lessons from your own journey. Those who give advice to keep you dependent will not disappear. They will attempt to pull you back, but your life is not theirs to control. Your vision is not theirs to manage. Remember this always. The right guidance frees you. The wrong guidance keeps you bound. Do not confuse advice for empowerment with advice for control. When someone's words consistently make you doubt, hesitate, or seek permission, they are not helping, they are restraining. Trust yourself first, move boldly, and build a life where your decisions, your courage, and your independence are the measure of your success. As we reach the close of this message, I want you to take a deep breath and truly understand the power of what you've been hearing today. Life is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's not about hoping that circumstances will change on their own. It's about making a decision to step into your destiny, to take responsibility for your growth, and to refuse to allow anyone or anything to limit the brilliance that is within you. You've seen how subtle forces disguised as concern can hold you back. You've learned that not everyone who smiles with you is truly happy for you, that some voices of guidance may quietly demand your dependence, and that emotional manipulation can slow your progress if you are not vigilant. But here's the truth. Awareness is power. Recognizing these patterns in your life is the first step toward breaking free, toward reclaiming your peace, your strength, and your purpose. The journey ahead is not about avoiding struggle, it's about choosing how you respond to it. You now know that your pain is not a weakness to be exploited, but a stepping stone to your greatness. You understand that real support celebrates without envy, uplifts without manipulation, and empowers without expecting dependence. Your environment, the people you let into your inner circle, and the energy you allow around you will shape the speed and magnitude of your progress. Every day, every choice, every action you take can either build the life you deserve or keep you trapped in a story written by others' fears and insecurities. And now, armed with clarity, you have the opportunity to choose differently. Commit to yourself in this moment. Commit to your dreams, to your growth, and to your future. Eliminate the influences that drain your energy, cloud your judgment, or diminish your confidence. Surround yourself with voices that challenge, inspire, and guide you toward action. Act boldly, even when fear whispers that it's too soon, even when doubt tries to slow your steps. The next 2 months are not just days on a calendar. They are a launch pad. 2 months of focused, discipline, intentional effort can set the trajectory for a lifetime of success. What you do today, how you choose, who you allow to influence you, and the mindset you adopt will determine the life you lead tomorrow. So rise with courage, stand with conviction, and move with purpose. Let your decisions be guided by clarity, not by the hidden agendas of others. Let your actions be fueled by faith, not by fear. Let your focus be unwavering and your commitment unshakable. You have everything you need to change your life, to rewrite your story, and to step into a version of yourself that is powerful, confident, and unstoppable. Thank you for listening. May your courage rise, your vision be clear, and your success be undeniable. God bless you, and may the next 2 months be the beginning of the life you were always meant to live.